Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor, and iTrustCapital iTrustCapital just put out a very interesting article that I think everybody should read. I retweeted it. You can go into my Twitter thing. They are my partner, by the way, but they put this article out, Crypto Investing Red Flags. This is one of the reasons I have my stuff with iTrustCapital and have had it there since either 2018 or 19. I don't worry about the safety of my funds. Look at this, Crypto Investing Red Flags, what to watch out before you get burned. Here's some of the recent crypto Ponzi failures: Celsius, FTX, Terra Luna, BitConnect. 5 red flags every crypto investor should know. Proprietary or secret strategies. Someone or a company can't clearly explain how it makes money or hides behind words like proprietary or exclusive. That's a major red flag. Guaranteed returns or risk-free yield. Refusal to answer questions or reveal leadership history. That's a big one. Unclear custody and security. No reviews or questionable reviews. Questions to ask. How long have you been in business? Can I verify their background, track record, credentials? Do they clearly explain where the funds are held and how they're managed? Is there clear disclosure about how I can withdraw my funds, including any lockup periods? Any charges to the policy after the fact are questionable, especially after a market crash. Are any promised returns backed by real explainable activity, not vague claims? Has the leadership faced past lawsuits, sanctions, bankruptcies? Can they explain them openly without steering the conversation elsewhere? Are their credentials, reviews, or testimonials from verified users, not bots or paid promotions? Bottom line, trust but verify. Folks, I've seen it all in this space. Everybody needs to do that. If you want to quit worrying about all that stuff, go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army. That takes you to my page. You can get a $100 free funding bonus for a new account. You can open an IRA or a premium custody account, and both of them have free institutional custody. The market is coming back a bit. We're back up to 3.7 trillion. XRP's back up to 251. This is Caroline Pham from the CFTC talking about what they're working on.
Yeah, so what is driving business at the CFTC right now?
So we are working very hard on making America the crypto capital of the world. You've seen the President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets deliver the crypto roadmap in July, and I announced a 12-month crypto sprint in order to implement all of the recommendations for the CFTC from that crypto roadmap. We've been working very hard on that. I expect that we're going to go live with listed spot crypto trading on one of our futures exchanges by the end of the year. We are going to be providing some guidance on tokenized collateral, potentially including stablecoins, by the end of the year. And next year, we're going to be doing a rulemaking in order to implement technical amendments to some of our rules like collateral, margin treatment, clearing, settlement, record-keeping, reporting, really technical amendments that are going to implement changes necessary for blockchain technology. And with that, by August next year, we should be all done with the crypto sprint and implementing the President's Working Group recommendations.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see so much resonating in the crypto world with investors today. What about the regulatory backdrop? Are you expecting changes there in order to see this kind of euphoria for crypto and digital assets continue?
Absolutely. Look, America is back. Earlier this year, I went to Tokyo, Seoul, and the Middle East and talked about how we are providing the regulatory clarity. We have ended regulation by enforcement. We've ended the regulatory, the being in the desert that we've been walking around, where America's been behind on financial innovation. And because of that, we're telling people to come and build, hire, invest, and build in America. And there's a lot of crypto companies that were thinking about expanding their operations offshore, but because we now have the regulatory clarity in the United States, they want to come here to New York and they want to expand their offices in New York, and they're looking at the West Coast. And I think that's really showing how, with some commitment, with a regulatory clarity, and with ending regulation by enforcement, that's what it took. And you've had this unified whole of government approach, of course, under the president and under this administration, and particularly with my partnership with SEC Chairman Paul Atkins.
Well, it's a great point that you make, because the chairman made a recent speech on what he called, quote, a new era of collaboration between the SEC and the CFTC, saying, let me be clear, our focus is harmonization, not on a merger of the SEC and CFTC, which, of course, would be up to Congress and the president. The path forward right now is collaboration, not consolidation. I asked the chairman, Atkins, about this directly back in September. Watch this.
Okay, we don't need to hear more of that. But we do want to hear this. This is a clip from a long time ago when Chris Larson was in Davos. The intersection of AI and crypto was literally created in part for AI. That's the part of this that's going to be so massive people aren't thinking about. But here's a good window into what's coming. You can tell that there were plans within plans from a long time ago.
We now have this Internet of Value. We're moving into a world where value, money, payments is moving like information already does on the internet. And that's a big deal, because until now, the world is sort of a lot of siloed payment networks, country by country, or Visa to M-Pesa. They don't talk to each other. And because they don't talk to each other, everybody suffers, from the poorest working class, underbanked consumer, to the thriving small business, to the biggest global corporation. They're all paying a very steep price because our world of money and payments is not interoperating, is not working as one. And we now have new technologies, whether you call them blockchain or distributed ledgers or whatever we call them. Bottom line is, this is the beginning of an Internet of Value, where value will be able to move like information, where it will move instantly, basically for free, as a free infrastructure. And that's a good thing. That now provides access to people, whether they're in, growing economies in Africa or in the rich countries in Europe and the US or in China. It will give them more value that they can use for their families, because they will get better access to the global economy. They're simply going to be taxed less from the friction that we've had in the past. And then kind of looking forward, I think you really see this almost futuristic world where, here at Davos, they're talking about Internet of Things. Well, now layer on this Internet of Things, these billions of cars, devices being connected. Now suddenly they're also commerce connected. So things are buying, selling, keeping money. You can imagine the self-driving car that's paying an ambitious coder in Kenya to upgrade its self-driving, systems. It's paying some embedded device in the road here in Davos to use the road, and it's collecting money from consumers or maybe even other things that might want to hitch a ride in that self-driving car. So suddenly now you could argue that billions and billions of new economic participants have a...
The writing is on the wall, folks. I had to ask, is anyone dressing up as Michael Saylor for Halloween? That, of course, is Jim Jones. I don't think he's drinking the Kool-Aid. I think he's just passing it out. This is right over the target. 17 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto published the Bitcoin white paper, and Brad Keim says, translation, 17 years ago, a three-letter agency commissioned Bitcoin to be created by 4 Satoshis, or hijacked once it was. That's why it's so important that we never know the true identities. It doesn't have the same flair to the masses of the world when you look past the shine. It's so right. This is right, too. Netflix is actively exploring a bid for Warner Brothers. So Netflix basically owns Hollywood now. But there was a time when the Netflix co-founder said Blockbuster Video laughed at us. Now there's one left. This is how this story will end for the Bitcoin maxis. They won't be laughing much longer, folks. Write it down. It's always been about XRP price. Smoke put this out, annual report on crypto philanthropy 2025. Check this out. XRP has a long history of being philanthropic. As the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap, we expect the trend to continue and accelerate as the price continues to appreciate this year. Almost like they know. Ashish Burla knows too. One step closer to uniting digital and traditional finance. Very proud of what our team is building at Evernorth XRP. And then I wanted to show you this. Ripple was featured in Forbes. Last time they were featured in Forbes, it was to call XRP a zombie chain. I guess they got a new writer, or fired the writer who was obviously working for the bad guys. Forbes, Ripple's $180 billion reinvention is reshaping global finance from cross-border liquidity to institutional infrastructure. It's building the next generation of real-world payment rails. You have to wonder if this has all been timed. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos. If you'd rather join through X, hit subscribe. We do the full video plus the extended video with no commercials. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.